One of my favorite features in modern JavaScript is arrow functions. So let's define a constant, call it square, and set it to a function that takes a number and simply returns number times number. So this is the old JavaScript. Now, starting from ECMAScript 6, we have a cleaner way to write the same code. So let me duplicate this so you can see both versions side by side. To convert this function to an arrow function, we get rid of the function keyword and put a fat arrow between the parameters and the body of the function. Now, if we have only a single parameter, we can exclude the parentheses. If we have 0 parameters, we have to add empty parentheses. So this is a function that takes no parameters, okay? Now, let's revert this back. We have a single parameter number. Now, if the body of our function includes only a single line and returns a value, we can make this code even shorter. We can get rid of the return keyword as well as the curly braces. And this is the end result. So the code we have on line 5 is exactly equivalent to what we have here. You can see the syntax is cleaner and more compact, and you can read it like number goes to number times number. So we can call this square function like this and log the result on the console. And let's remove this. Otherwise, we'll get an error because we have declared the square constant twice. So save the changes. Back in the browser, we get 25 on the console. Now let me show you where these arrow functions are really useful. Let's imagine we have an array of jobs. So each job object has maybe an ID and a property called isActive, which we set to true or false. Now I'm going to add a couple more here and make the first 2 jobs active and the last one inactive. Okay. Now let's imagine we want to get only the active jobs. So we call jobs.filter method. The argument that we pass here is a predicate function, a function that takes a job object and returns a true or false. So when we call the filter method, this method iterates over this array. For each job object, it takes that job object and passes it to this predicate function. The job of this predicate is to determine if that job object should be returned from the filter method. So here we can return job.isActive. If we return true here, that job will be returned from the filter method. So we can get the final list and call it active jobs. Okay. Now here we have a simple function, and this is a perfect opportunity for us to use an arrow function and make this code cleaner and more readable. So I'm going to duplicate this line so we can compare them side by side. So as I told you, to convert this to an arrow function, we get rid of the function keyword, delete, put a fat arrow between the parameters and the body. Now we have a single parameter, so we can get rid of the parentheses. And we have a single line here. We're simply returning a value. So we can get rid of the return keyword as well as the curly braces. And we don't add the semicolon here. So this is the end result. You can see this code is cleaner and easier to read. So filter jobs where job is active. There is less noise in this code.